What is everybody? Trenton here with Frontstretch.com for Beyond the Cockpit with the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman.
How are you?
Hey, how you doing, man? How's your week in Miami? You know, it's hot. You know?
Yeah, not a fan of the heat or especially humidity. Fall's my favorite time of year, so when fall starts at home and we come down here, it's kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, you talk about you don't like a lot of heat, but you very busy man in the race car doing double duty this weekend, Xfinity Cup, practice qualifying. You know, how the car's for you, and how are you? You know, the heat inside the car on top of the heat outside. You know, as a race car driver, you know, someone who doesn't like heat, how do you adapt to that? How do you adapt?
I mean, I'm used to the heat. I just don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
But
yeah.
ultimately, I think we've got a couple cars that are pretty competitive. The Generax Ford, I think will be pretty good once we get it in full-blown race trim. You know, you get starting practice with kind of your air up a little bit and all that stuff, but the balance was fairly close, and we had to go out early to qualify, so that was a disadvantage. But I think it'll be more competitive than we qualified for sure. The Cup car, same way, get forced into their matrix of where you're supposed to qualify, which put us out, I think, second in the first group, which is when the track is the worst, and we're just kind of a victim of the circumstance there. But overall, happy to be here.
Yeah, so what led to this? You know, from 2023 to 2024, wanting to get in the car and do a lot of this stuff. Coming back, seeing familiar faces in the garage and that kind of thing. What went in the motion to make you want to get in the car more this year?
Yeah, just circumstantial situations. Carl approached me about the Xfinity car, knowing that he had an ex-Penske car that he was very confident in. Roush Yates put an engine together for us to come down here, and we know that they're super competitive because they just won the last race by like 2 minutes or something like that. So either way, and then Carl's deal. The Rick Ware deal kind of fell into my plate, I guess you could say, just because what happened with Cody and that stuff, and gave me the opportunity to come pick some races and go race. And I've always said short track racing was what I wanted to do with that car. I think that they've made some safety gains with it, so that's part of why I'm here. I mean, Homestead's an awesome racetrack. I don't think anybody's here that hates coming to Homestead. Most everybody enjoys Homestead.
Yeah, and with Rick Ware, they're making a lot of moves there. The RFK Alliance, they're getting Justin Haley next year, which is a big shocker to a lot of the NASCAR community. So, you being a veteran, what kind of information have you been able to give them to help develop that team more, and maybe for the future with Justin as their driver?
Yeah, I'm just kind of living in the moment. What happens next year will be with whatever rules they change, because even when they say they're not going to change anything, they do, and tires and whatever else. So ultimately, just trying to be as competitive as we can. The RFK Alliance definitely has shown some gains. They've picked up over where they were last year, and Rick Ware Racing has paralleled that step. So ultimately just here to have fun and try to gain on my performance as a driver through these next 3 races. Since I'll be doing all 3, it'll be the first time I've been consistent on starts, to get a better feel for what the car. I mean, granted it's different racetracks, but either way, just getting a little bit more accustomed to it.
Okay.
Definitely an advantage.
Now, is this wanting to lead you into next year doing a little bit more and more?
No,
maybe not like half full time or anything, but doing more than what you're doing this year.
No, this is circumstantial and situational. I've always said whatever my daughters got going on is number one priority. These next 3 weekends they don't, and I feel like it's just an opportunity. Like I said, it's I'm aware that I'm not in playoff contending equipment, but at the same time, if we can work towards that direction, which we are, it'll be good for all of us. So that's what we're doing.
And speaking of fun, you did do the SRX races this season, the championship and everything. Congrats on that. Just racing something different on different tracks against different drivers from different backgrounds and winning it. What does that mean for you as a driver? Even though you haven't been in the car as much as some of those other guys may have been.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to my previous championship was the 1999 Silver Cup championship. So 20 plus years later, trying to be a Cup champion and then beating guys that are Cup champions is pretty special. I mean, I raced against Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte. They were 2 of the 8 guys that raced full time, and I was able to beat them. So kind of a feather in my cap. But either way, it was a whole lot of fun to race in that series. And the 4 races on pavement, 2 races on dirt, all short track racing. I've always said, going back to last year, it's high profile short track racing, and if you don't like that, you're not a race fan.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys, were around racing when you were, doing it full time as well. So, just going back with those old faces, fan favorites, just putting that maybe like 2000s NASCAR, vibe together again with those names, just from a fan experience looking in, how do you think, that series is looked at,
I mean, I think it's gaining popularity. I think a lot of fans enjoy the racing, the schedule, the quality of the turnkey product, I guess you could say. Add Keselowski into that deal too. I mean, he's a Cup champion and he raced full time this year, so definitely proud of that accomplishment, and I look forward to hopefully doing it again next year.
And I got one more for you. You talked about your daughters, your family being the most important thing. What are some hobbies that Ryan Newman in everyday normal life is doing? What are some things that
what gives me the grease underneath the fingernails?
Yeah. What's something that keeps you going? Besides your family, obviously, outside the race car that you enjoy doing, with your time now that you're not racing as much anymore.
Yeah, I got a bunch of animals. Got, I think, 65 head of black Angus cows, about 16 buffalo, and 28 elk that I raise. So I've got over 500 rolls of hay that I baled myself. At least I rolled the bales. I had some help on other tractors at times, but I rolled the bales this year. And the farm life's a whole lot of fun. I enjoy the outdoors, hunting and fishing, things like that, and love doing it with people that I love the most. So that takes up a lot of time right there between that and mowing grass, keeping up with the house and farm and tractors and charging batteries and you name it. That's the majority of what keeps me going.
Awesome. And I actually do have one more after that. I apologize. On the track, even racing the cars you've been racing this season, you have a reputation of being a difficult guy to pass and stuff. So, when you're running around the track and stuff, and you hear somebody who's trying to win a championship, saying, "Oh, they're trying to, I can't get around them." Is it, you still take pride in being difficult to pass like that, or is that just being a racer?
Part of my job is being a good part of my job of being a good racer is passing when I can and being hard to pass. I mean, those two kind of go hand in hand. So. You never hear about the guy that's easy to pass, right? You always hear about the guy getting complained about that's hard to pass.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, I think it's a cool thing. It would be nice to be like, man, he passes more cars than anybody else. But if you're also the guy that's hard to pass, then that's part of the equation.
All right. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time today. Good luck this weekend, and we look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Hey everyone, Dalton Hopkins here with Frontstretch.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out one of the two videos next to me to see more of our racing content.